And I don't blame him because, to be quite honest, most men don't know any better. Like how you praise a fish for swimming, a teachable somebody.
Love like a mountain that cannot be moved. Just as an eagle, I found freedom in you, a peace which brings me.
So for today's topic, I'm gonna need everyone to be open-minded because yeah, I think it's gonna be a tricky one still. We are doing a very muted look. We are doing a matte kind of cut crease, and I wanna focus more on my base today. So I'm gonna play a video whilst I do part of the eyeshadow, and then we are going to discuss it.
Modern day women just don't qualify for the top tier men, and that is the truth.
You believe you're a top tier man? By what standard?
I'm 6'4", only about what? 8% of the entire world is 6'4". I make well over 100K a year. And I'm black at that if you add that on. So just if we're speaking about those figures, the things that women are attracted to, no, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I'll let you do the math.
Okay, so like I said, let's keep an open mind. Let me not start by laughing. I wanted to discuss it from a different point of view from what a lot of people have been speaking about online, because it really seems like he genuinely thinks that he is a top tier man. He could be, I'm not saying he isn't, but he believes that those standards are what qualify him for being a top tier man: his height and his bank account. And I don't blame him because, to be quite honest, most men don't know any better because they were not taught any better. Try and remember how you were raised as a lady. So I will start from child development, because obviously this is where our core memories, our core values start from. Let me start from the types of toys that are there globally for girls and for boys. What ideas are being installed in girls? What values are they learning from play? Because yes, they're playing with the dolls, they're playing with the kitchen sets, they are playing with the makeup, they're playing dress up. What values are being instilled in them? They are being taught how to be good mothers. They're being taught how to be nurturing. Because I can remember how I used to take care of my dolls. I used to brush their hair, I used to dress them up, I used to carry them on my back like I was carrying a baby. I used to bathe them, all of the things that mothers do when they actually have children. I was doing that before the age of 5. It seems insignificant, but we learned nurturing through that. I had a kitchen set and I was learning to cook on my toy kitchen set. And I remember anytime I would go to my grandmother's house, I would beg her, please let me cook, let me clean. Because I've been doing it with my toy set and I want to do it in real life. You're learning how to keep a house. You even pretend that your doll is crying, and some modern dolls have that crying feature. I remember I think I had one that had the crying feature as well. First thing you do is you run to it and you tell it it's okay and don't cry. You're learning emotional intelligence. Are we still together? All right. Those are not the only toys that I had, by the way. I also had a keyboard, I had a paint set, those keys, I had puzzles. So not only was I learning nurturing, emotional intelligence, housekeeping, homekeeping, I was also learning to be a creative. I was also learning to be functional. Every other thing that I needed, I learned it before I was 6 years old, or I had an idea of it before I was 6 years old. I was well-rounded. What sort of toys do we buy for boys? They have dinosaurs, they have cars, they have Legos, they have guns, they have soldiers. None of their toys are oriented towards family or relationship, or taking care of the house, or taking care of themselves, or taking care of other people. Okay, let's leave the toys aside. In an African household, there are roles. They are the things that are done by the girls, they are the things that are done by the boys. There is this saying, I don't know if it's in other cultures, but in Shona culture, there is this saying that boys do not belong in the kitchen. You're a boy. What are you doing in the kitchen? Many men don't know how to cook, other than probably an egg, 2-minute noodles. And so when people grow up and they say that they are this height and they make this amount of money and that makes them a top tier man, that's because that's all they know. And do you know what happens after they say something like that? They are attacked. He genuinely believes that. That's just the pattern that he grew up with. Remember, we grow up with patterns. We view the world through the lens of what we have learned as we were growing up. So if that's what he knows, that's what he knows. Another thing is other men don't hold other men accountable. It's very rare that you would find someone who will stand up and say what that man did was wrong or what that man is saying is wrong, because they don't want the responsibility of them acting in the right way or being scrutinized for their own wrongs. But with women, we are so quick to judge when a woman is not able to take care of their home, take care of their kid. When you see how they parent, you're so quick to point it out. And I actually saw something that was quite interesting about how men, when they are involved in their children's lives, everybody praises them. Like how you praise a fish for swimming. Like that. And that's because we always get the negative news about relationships. I said this in a previous video that we need to have more and more examples of good relationships, of good men, because these men that grow up like this, with this idea, do not have good examples. This is what their fathers were doing. Their fathers learned from their grandfathers. Their grandfathers learned from their great-grandfathers, and so forth and so forth. So this is the idea of what a man is. A man is a provider. Yes. Provision is not just financial. You have to provide a safe space for your children to speak to you. You have to provide a safe space for your wife to be vulnerable. You have to provide emotional, spiritual protection. But unfortunately, when men are taught about provision, it's always the money. He's talking about a modern day woman, and the modern day woman is being taught to make their own money. So when you take away the money, what do you have left to offer if it's just your height? And that's the discussion that men should be having with men. But women have to chime in. Why? Because they have grown up being taught how to be a good wife, and then they end up with men who don't know how to be a good husband. And so this cycle of conversation is regenerated generation after generation after generation, because now we are still focusing on the girl child, and we are still putting the responsibility of the household into the girl child. Even when it comes to spirituality, the wives go to church and the husbands sometimes go, sometimes don't go, but it is the responsibility of the wife to pray for the household, to pray for the husband. And so, what other responsibility do men have? What other responsibility are they taught? The girl child has been oppressed for the longest time. And we do live in a patriarchal society, And so I understand why the focus has to be on empowering the girl child. However, are we doing the girl child justice or injustice when after they have gone to school, they have secured a good job, they have an amazing career, they still have to come home to a man that is not supportive to them? Because you are taking away one yoke and you're putting another yoke. So when we look for equality, we're not just looking for equality financially. As we are teaching women empowerment, we are focusing on the girl child. Let us also empower men with knowledge. Let us have focus group discussions. You know those, what do they call it? Men's conference? Can they actually come to light? And can you guys come together and actually teach each other? It's not easy. It's not easy, and it's not easy. It's not easy, and it's not something that is going to come overnight. Look, generations and generations of people have been fighting this, and a lot of people still believe that we should continue the way we are, but it's embarrassing. At this point, it's embarrassing for a grown man to be confident enough to say a statement like that. It's embarrassing for all of us. So in response to what that man had said, the lady went on to list what a high value man is. And unless society shifts and focuses on that, the men are just going to look at her and say, she's one of those women that want too much. Everything that she listed was the bare minimum. I'll play her reply now.
Hold on, before we go, what's your math saying?
The conversation and the words that are coming out of the mouth of someone like you, I would never consider top tier. A top tier man is also a man that is extremely desirable by way of his character. A top tier man is a man who displays a certain level of intellect that allows him to consider other people. A top tier man, they lead with love, not with dictatorship, right? They don't want to control their woman. They want to gently lead their woman. A top tier man creates space for a woman to feel good about herself. A top tier man supports the dreams and the ideas of a woman. A top tier man prioritizes a woman. A top
Okay, so we are going to move to contour and see if I'll need to highlight. But I do think I need some concealer because my under eyes are a little bit dark and we're trying to have a good base.
that woman needs is also 6'4", black, attractive. I don't know too many women in my circle who desire a 6'4" man still wearing braids.
And for this part, we are going to use the Beauty Blender. We are going to do a little bit of Laura Mercier powder just to bring the look together.
I wanna run away, but not like buy a ticket.
Alright, so we're gonna do some more setting spray, do the lips, and then I'll come up with the conclusion. So we have this idea that we know. You know, women know. No one taught us. That's not true. The world taught us, the society taught us to be the women that we are, to be as considerate as we are, as passionate, as kind as we are, to have emotional intelligence, to know when to and when not to. We have been taught that. For the generation that is to come, the generation that is coming up now, that's where all the work is. As we are bringing power to the girl child, we need to bring power to the boy child. Not physical anymore, not financial provision only anymore, but let us teach what it means to be in a household, what it means to be in a marriage. Let us teach what it means to build a family. Let us hold family and marriage to high regard again. That is the only way we can stop this cycle from continuing. But before I go, I just wanted to reiterate the point that I said for the grown men. Teachable men, men who are willing to learn. And this can only come through love, right? If a man really loves you, like genuinely loves you, who knows what love is, first of all, because that word has started being thrown around when people don't really know what it is. I will leave my favorite reminder of what love is. It is 1 Corinthians 13. And when you replace your name with love and you don't carry the same attributes, then there's a lot to work on. We all have a lot to work on. No one is perfect. But when a man really loves you, they are teachable. They are willing to learn. Don't go and be Bob the Builder to a man who will take your kindness for foolishness. You hear me? I didn't say go and be taken for idiot. I didn't say that. So, this is our final look, guys. This is our final look. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. I am so curious to hear what you have to say about this. It weighs so hard on my heart. But I hope that we are the generation and the future generations are the ones that are going to turn it around. If you've gone into this part of the video, thank you so much for watching. I'm currently fighting with lighting, but it's alright because we got the face. Let me give you a little something something.
4 miles on a plane, wanna go somewhere further. But I'm done with outer space, controlled by retrogrades. I've got too much on my plate. My stomach's full, but I still crave.
Please don't forget to comment, like, and tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend to subscribe. And if you haven't joined the membership, please consider doing so, because I'm about to go and tell a hot juicy story time there, but I only keep it for members only because I need it to be, you know, tight and close knit. And I'll see you next Thursday.
'Cause I wanna be alone.